Welcome to another edition of the Dedicated Educational Network. Today we'll be talking about the internal components of a computer. Each of the internal components play a small part in the overall computer's functions. We will be talking about each one individually and breaking down what each one does and how it contributes to the whole. First up is the computer case, also known as a computer chassis or tower. It is used to hold all of the internal components of a computer. It can be made of steel, aluminum, plastic, or even Legos. The motherboard or main board holds most of the internal components of the computer, with expansion slots for other components that can be added as needed or desired. The CPU is the most important element of the computer. It is the brain of the computer and is where the commands are processed and sent to their corresponding parts of the computer. Read-only memory, or ROM, is where the computer firmware is located. The important program data is stored here because it is very difficult to erase or rewrite. Random access memory, or RAM, is where the data for running programs is stored. Every program from graphical to typing uses RAM to run before final saving to the hard drive. The hard drive is where data from the computer is stored permanently. It uses rapidly rotating disks to quickly store and retrieve the data stored here. Solid-state drives operates similarly to the hard disk drive, but uses integrated circuits instead of moving parts. It is tougher and runs more silently than its predecessor. The video card or graphics card is an expansion card that greatly enhances the graphical display power of the computer. For programs with high graphical demands, graphic cards can come with their own memory that is dedicated to the graphics and a built-in fan to aid in cooling. While the sound card that comes with a motherboard can handle most sound application, an expansion sound card offers better quality and support for multiple output and input components like speaker and mics. The PhysX card is dedicated to the physical calculations found in modern games. Every explosion, fall, or projectile requires these calculations to be shown properly. This card frees the CPU from having to make these calculations, resulting in a smoother gaming experience. Now here's a quick example of a computer game being played without these enhancing cards. And now here's a game that is played with all these enhancing cards. Quite the difference just 3 little cards can make. Now, moving on. The system bus connects the major computer components together, allowing for faster speed and greater modularity of computer parts. Floppy disks and their replacement, the CDs, are used to transfer data to and from computers. The dedicated drivers for each of these portable medias are responsible for reloading or recording data to and from the computer. The heatsink is an essential component for cooling higher power components like the CPU and graphics cards. Thermal adhesive is used to fill the gap in between the heatsink and the components to improve the thermal performance. Lastly is the power supply. This must be chosen last because the amount of power the computer needs is determined by the power demands of the other components. Each component will have a recommended power requirement that comes with it. Simple math is then used to determine how powerful a power supply is needed. That concludes today's program. I hope you learned more about the internal workings of a computer, and as always, keep studying, and thank you again.